Hi again. For some reason, I'm kind of, I don't know if you want to say paranoid. I'm just worried that, I remember months ago, or maybe a year or two, couple years, um, I linked my mom, this channel. I sent it to her in a link, but you would think if she actually watched these videos, she would have said something to me. Because I do want to start talking about stuff like relationship with her and everything, if I can. Maybe somewhere on the internet I'll find someone who can relate. And just yeah, that can relate to me or whatever, or so I'm kind of anxious that she would see these. But like I said, she would have said that my channel. So anyways, I want to begin by talking about, some recent things. I'm not going to... So everything happened in July and then, onwards. But really, it does stem from childhood. And it's hard to talk about, but because I also invalidate myself a lot. But then I'm like, well, maybe I'm justified. Maybe it is me. But yeah. So on Monday, July 28th, that morning, I texted her that, it's stuff that had happened before, but we were video chatting like once a week. For context, also background context, I live in Texas and she lives in North Carolina, where I grew up. And so that's about at least 1,000 miles away. And I was trying to video chat with her once a week. We would do a scheduled Bible reading. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. I'm not gonna say what religion we belong to, or whatever, because talking about a big topic of that doesn't seem to go well on the internet. So I'm gonna, just keep it neutral. We were doing that, and then there's this one time I said a certain word a certain way that's different, and she was like, say that word again or something. And at the time I felt like I was made fun of when we did, during that. And I told her I felt like I was made fun of when we did the Bible reading a while back. So I felt reluctant or apprehensive to do it again. And then I was just telling her I had my, period and needed to save energy for the doctor that day. And I didn't feel like video chatting. And she responded, "I'm so sorry. I truly didn't make fun of you. Now I feel horrible. I've been wondering why you never want to video, and I've been blaming myself. I apologize. Please forgive me. It wasn't my intention to make you feel bad, or make fun of you, And lately in this stage of life, it's hard for me to, the majority of people, from my experience, when they get an apology, it feels like they want to be what's the common response? That's okay or something? And I'm like, well, it's not okay. So I just like started thanking people for apologizing. Like, okay, thank you for apologizing. Actually, that's why I didn't want to do the reading, not why I didn't want a video. I haven't been feeling well, and as I've said on a past email, I feel emotionally exhausted and drained from hearing negative comments and venting. I wish you could get mental health help and therapy before we talk again on a more regular basis. And I do understand she has depression and all of that, but and yeah, she would vent to me, and I feel basically emotionally responsible for her emotions, and I have since I was like 12. You'll see as I read this. I have. I'm just looking for more. She just sent a text talking about passing her inspection, only 3 words, and everything. And I must have had a therapist appointment between these times, because I think what had happened, I sent her an email called Boundaries. And I thought, well, I mean, I think at the encouragement of my therapist, I clarified, like, how did she make fun of me, so that she would understand, I guess. So in an email, it says, Dear Mother, I would like to clarify about how I felt like I was made fun of. I feel like I cannot describe things well, however, here I go. I feel like the tone you used and how you tried to get me to repeat the word that's the word, was when I was made fun of. You know what word I meant. What would be the point of repeating myself if not for you to point out how I said it differently? I feel like this was not the first time that it has happened. Even through my childhood, you brought up and made fun of how I said certain words. I cannot control how I say them, so I appreciate it not being pointed out how I speak like that, and so I do not want to continue with the Bible reading together. The second paragraph I wrote, I understand that you have depression. However, I feel emotionally exhausted and drained when I listen to mostly negativity, complaining, and venting. As a side, mainly her venting, because, like, it feels like she's using me as a friend, and I'm her doctor, not her friend or her therapist. But to continue, it makes it hard for me to stay positive and be less critical of myself and others. I feel like I am being talked at instead of with. And so until you seek therapy, I cannot use my energy to video chat with you. This is not to say I will not talk to you at all, though. I just can only give of myself just so much now. And then I signed. Her email response. I don't know if it will do any good to try to explain myself about how you said or say words, but I'll try anyway. I truly think you are unique, and I like how you say words. I was definitely not making fun of you. If I had been, then I would have known why you didn't want to do the Bible reading anymore, and I would have apologized, but I haven't had any idea why you haven't wanted to video. I did say I blame myself because it was likely I had said something unintentionally to upset you. That feels like that's my fault. Like, I feel too sensitive how she worded that. That's the only thing I feel like discussing at this time. So she's going to ignore that second paragraph. My treadmill isn't working right, so I've been getting up at 6:45 to walk outside. I'm going to bed. I too am taking a break from video and texting too, really, but I'm still available anytime you want to text me and I'll briefly respond. Love, Mother. And now, after this response, the way I had started feeling was, part of me doesn't feel justified for being upset because of what she said, yet she's completely ignoring my second paragraph I emailed. Also, she kind of seemed to make this more about her. Apparently, according to her, if she really was intentionally making fun of me, then she would have known why I didn't want to do the Bible reading. But that's not necessarily true, now is it? And, yeah, I think my therapist had agreed this is invalidating my feelings. And she did say I did good in what I had told my mom. And then I told her about those new diagnoses, as I put on another video. She sent a text probably that same week in early August, sometime after I had got those diagnoses. I didn't really put a date properly, whoops. But her text message, I've been trying to decide if I should email or text you. I didn't get a response to the last email I sent, and that's okay. I've been giving you time and space. Like she thinks that's all I need. It's just, time, and then everything's fine. Anyway, back to the... I love you so very much. I miss you more than you could ever know. I miss having a relationship with you. I've been praying constantly that things would get better between us. Why would all of a sudden it get better without her actually doing the work and going to therapy like I said, like I want? Anyways, back to the text. I promise I will never ever say another negative word to you. I'm so heartbroken and I'm hurting real bad. I'm not blaming you for anything, just the opposite. I blame myself. If we could at least text each other more, I'd feel better. I'm here for you, always have been and always will be. I'll try to work on the family history soon. I'm hoping this headache doesn't turn into a migraine. And the family history that I'm talking about is I asked her to of like physical health conditions, ailments, disorders, etc., so that the next rheumatologist appointment I have, I would be able to give that to them. So that's the one I'm talking about. My reply to her, as my therapist encouraged me to stick to my boundaries, I told her, no ma'am, my boundaries are still me considering that, as in, more contact. If you find a way to attend therapy consistently and address things there. The pattern has been when you said you wouldn't sound negative, you do not follow through. Right now, my nervous system cannot give you more access. I love you, but no. And yeah, my therapist had said, follow through with my boundaries. So that's what I was trying to, and I had hoped it was tactful. It has been hard to do. I'm trying to be strong, stick to my boundaries and stuff. And maybe she thinks it's harder on her, but it is hard on me still. But I need to do it for my health. And doubt does start to creep in, like, since we're religious with the Bible, like maybe I should put up with her in love, like the scripture says. And I also started thinking, isn't part of an apology not to do a certain thing again? Like she said that she would never ever say no negative again. So maybe, that is the proper apology. I don't know. But also the pattern has been she hasn't followed through. And at the same time, how would I know she followed through if I don't have more contact with her? But when I brought that up, the therapist is like, well, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with, like, checking in a little bit, not full contact again. And it still seems she's sort of making this about her still. She said she isn't blaming me, but why does it feel like she is? Well, why does it still feel like guilt tripping? Was it my fault if her headache turned into a migraine? I know, she's like, I hope it doesn't. Like, it almost feels like that would be my fault then? And another thing, since when was it? Oh, I thought for some reason I thought I remembered her saying a good relationship, but yeah, the thing is about the relationship, she wants one again. I feel like it was basically the only relationship is the way she wants it to go, and not, a very mature one. I mean, it's not bad or abusive, but it wasn't really a good relationship either. It was kind of enmeshed, perhaps. I feel like it felt like she mostly vented and complained a lot, and that left me, emotionally drained and emotionally exhausted and anxious after I had finished talking to her. And her tone to me sounds so negative. Like, she seems to think nothing good ever happens to her. And I have felt emotionally parentified, at least, and responsible for her emotions, at least since I was 12 years old. And I'm 36 now. Friday, I will be 37. Especially lately, it just felt kind of one-sided relationship. And I have so much empathy. I don't want her to feel so heartbroken and everything. But at the same time, it feels like she isn't really fully understanding how I feel. And a lot of times my feelings aren't taken in consideration, it feels like. And I also decided to send an email to her. One last one I have not gotten a reply to. And I told her, I feel guilt tripped from your text. I also feel like you are making it all about you without fully understanding how I feel. The second paragraph, I have felt responsible for your emotions since I was 12. I have felt emotionally parentified since then. I know you promised you wouldn't say anything negative, but it isn't only about what you say, but how it's said and your tone. My nervous system does not feel well around that. I, of course, do not mind occasional negative comments. Parentheses, because no one is perfect, end parentheses. Such as when someone is going through a health flare. I have friends of various ages who have chronic illnesses as well. So I'm like, oh, I'm, doing all right, except for this new symptom has shown up. They don't drag, but at the same time, their tones do not drag you down. They are just relaying how they have been feeling. And it's not only negative. There is some positive things that also happen in their life. That's the difference, a balance. As I probably continue to say, the point is, back to the email, the point is I feel better around more balanced speech. There are not only negative things that happen to you, it also feels like you seem to have a negative opinion about almost everything. Seeing how it does not go well when I try to tactfully point out how you're coming across, perhaps without realizing it, please get consistent help in therapy before I consider increased contact. Please vent to a therapist instead of me. Does your Humana cover therapy, perhaps even online? A P.S. If you don't hear from me before, then I will try to text on the 5th to wish you a safe trip and see how your trip is going. She was going from North Carolina to Tennessee. somewhere with family. That was this past Friday. I think that I wrote this maybe a week or two ago. And yeah, it was on the 5th that she was leaving. And I have not heard any reply about this subject yet from her. We have texted some, once to show her, like, a young lady we used to know got engaged recently. I told her about the new Amazon thing, which, you know, you can't ship to, starting in October, you cannot ship to somewhere that's not your primary address, because it affects us, because I use her account for her Prime to ship to me. And I told her about that. And just, you know, a couple of, like, like, I only text her if there's something that I need to say, like, you know, important. Stuff like that. And she has not responded about this subject again. I hope by sharing my story, someone can relate. I hope she doesn't think to look at these. She's probably forgotten all about it because I haven't brought it up, and she hasn't brought this channel up. So I hope maybe someone can relate, or it would be nice to have some validation. I also talked to someone else that I know that's going through similar, and stuff like that. Hope maybe someone sees, like, I'm still afraid that, because I'm invalidating my own emotions too, which all my life I felt like they were invalidated by her, my parents. I was always on hypervigilance alert from changing emotions in the atmosphere. Because, well, for one, my dad was an alcoholic. Fortunately, the only thing he did was being argumentative. No violence, no bad thing. It just caused me an uneasy feeling and anxiety from the shifting emotions in the air and the atmosphere. But he wasn't mistreating any of us, so I guess that's good in consideration. But so yeah, I'm low contact with her right now, and hopefully someone watches this and understands my side of things, and maybe someone's gone through similar or something. But yeah, I just wanted to share my story about that. I hope that was okay. This video is a bit long. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, thank you for listening to me talk about this. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Take care.